House Speaker Mike Johnson unveiled his proposal Saturday to avert a partial government shutdown by expanding government funding for some agencies and programs through Jan. 19 and continuing funding for others through February 2. The approach is unusual for a stopgap spending bill. Typically, lawmakers extend funding for all programs by a certain date. Johnson decided to go ahead with the combination approach, addressing concerns from GOP lawmakers who wanted to avoid introducing a big spending bill right before the holidays. The bill would stop the ridiculous holiday season omnibus tradition of large, hefty spending bills introduced just before Christmas. The bill excludes funds requested by President Biden for Israel, Ukraine, and the U.S. border with Mexico. Johnson said separating Biden's request for an emergency supplemental bill from the temporary stopgap measure would leave our conference-focused fiscal responsibility, oversight on Ukraine aid, and meaningful policy changes our southern border. It put him in the best position, he said. Hardline conservatives, who are generally loath support any temporary spending measures, had told Johnson they would give Congress more time to negotiate a long-term deal if they were pass legislation known as a continuing resolution, or CR. However, some were critical in their reactions following the conference call. Rep. Chip Roy tweeted to our Texas X. Our Texas Rep. Chip Roy funded 75 days of Pelosi-level spending and policies for future. The federal government is operating under funding levels approved by a Democratic-held House and Senate last year, when fiscal year that coincided with government shutdown ended on Sept. 30. Congress passed a 47-day continuing resolution funding government through November 17. But fallout it was violent. Rep. Kevin McCarthy was booted from Speaker days later, leaving the House effectively paralyzed for most of month as Republicans tried to elect a replacement. In end, Republicans were unanimous in electing Johnson Speaker, but his height didn't nearly facilitate the dynamic that led to McCarthy removal. A conference considering how much to spend on policy and federal programs last week. Republicans had get two spending bills off floor. One to fund transportation and housing programs, one fund Treasury Department, Small Business Administration, and other agencies, to push them through House because they don't vote in their own party. A document announcing Johnson's House proposal to Republicans obtained by the Associated Press said funding for 4 spending bills would be extended through Jan. 19. And bills dealing with transportation, housing, agriculture and energy would be part of that extension. Funding for 8 other spending bills involving Defense, State Department, Homeland Security and other government agencies will be extended through February 2. It's a good thing the Speaker didn't include unnecessary cuts and continue defense funding with the second set of